We got breaking news here on the Bulls Report by Chat Sports as the Chicago Bulls are signing Torrey Craig to a 2-year deal that includes a player option in year 2. Breaking news here on the Bulls Report as the Bulls finally make a move with some of the exceptions that they had left to play and some of the cards that they still had to make a move on, and they finally made one of those moves. We're still waiting on the contract details, but I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on what the contract will specifically look like and what exception I think Torrey Craig is going to receive for the Bulls. But guys, this is exactly why you hit that subscribe button. Anytime the Bulls make a move, we'll drop everything we're doing right now and have a video for you guys ASAP. And I'll be giving you guys my full breakdown and analysis on the move itself and specifically diving into each and every player the Bulls bring in. So hit that sub button and stay in the loop of all Bulls news and rumors. But the news today is Torrey Craig signing a 2-year deal with the Chicago Bulls, and I'm going to be diving into a little Torrey Craig breakdown here, just diving into the type of player he is and what you Bulls fans should expect from Torrey Craig this upcoming season. But I do want to make this point with the available exceptions the Bulls have left remaining to play. I would assume Torrey Craig is receiving the biannual exception from the Chicago Bulls. I think it's probably going to be a 2-year, $9 million deal with the player option in year 2. I don't think it would be the mid-level. The Bulls only have $6 million left on that mid-level exception. I really doubt that. And then obviously the disabled player exception that they got from the Lonzo Ball move, I really doubt that that's going to be used here. I would assume Torrey Craig goes for a 2-year, $9 million deal with the player option in year 2 and signs for that 4.5 biannual exception. But Torrey Craig, production standpoint this last season, we'll get you guys caught up with this here. 7.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, but it's that three-point shooting that I like the most. He shot just under 40% from deep, and it's kind of who he's been throughout his NBA career. Like overall, in his time in the NBA, he shot 35% during the year, but this past year was the best year from his standpoint of shooting the basketball. And overall, I am a big fan of this pickup. I think this is a great move for the Chicago Bulls. I think he's a polished, smart, and hard-working player on both ends of the floor. Like, I think you're getting a guy in terms of role players in the NBA. He fits that mold perfectly. You know, he's got that 6'7", 220-pound archetype. I think he's going to fit in really well with what the Bulls want to do on both sides of the floor. And like I said, he is coming off his best shooting career so far during his NBA career. Obviously, the scoring output is not, astronomical. He's not an all-star player. Again, he is a role player. He fits his role extremely well, and we saw it last year in the playoffs with the Phoenix Suns. He was great in spots, and that's where you really love to see role players kind of shine, is during those NBA playoffs where you say, oh, this is the Torrey Craig game. This is the, Klay Thompson game, whoever it may be. Like, Torrey Craig's one of those guys where maybe the scoring output per game may not be there, but in terms of just a one-game kind of move, Torrey Craig could go get you 20, and he could be efficient doing that as well. I'm a fan of this pickup. I think it's honestly going to be good for the Bulls on both sides of the floor, but specifically defensively, which I'll dive into here in a second. But I'll ask you guys, grade the Torrey Craig signing. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F down in the comment section. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if YouTube throws an ad break your way, sit back, let it play, and let me know your thoughts on the Bulls signing Torrey Craig to a 2-year deal. My grade for this move, I think it's a B+. I think obviously this is not a move that's going to, push the needle here for the Chicago Bulls, but in terms of what they needed to bring in, I really enjoy this move. And obviously, his max potential is, just a solid 3-and-D player in the league. And, he's always had the defensive aspect to his game, but not only this past year with him adding in that three-point shot, and obviously he's getting a ton of looks by playing around a guy like Kevin Durant or a Devin Booker, a lot more wide-open threes. But I think with the Bulls and with the two, head honchos they have in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, with the amount of looks they create for not just themselves but for other players, like Torrey Craig could be another good option. And if we look at the Bulls roster here just as a whole, we obviously still have, some moves that need to be made. But as it stands right now, I think this should be the starting lineup heading into next season. I think it's going to be Javon Carter at the 1, DeMar DeRozan at the 2, or Zach LaVine at the 2. They can be interchangeable at the 2 or the 3. And then I think the front court will be Patrick Williams at the 4, and then Nikola Vucevic at the 5. But this is why this move excites me so much. The Chicago Bulls bench will be absolutely incredible this upcoming season. We still have the question marks around Io, which I actually do believe Io DeSumo could go for that mid-level exception where the Bulls maybe bring him back on a 3-year, $18 million deal, which I think would be an absolute steal. Or maybe they even give Io the 10.2 disabled player exception from the Lonzo Ball news. But then you add Torrey Craig to this defensive backcourt with Alex Caruso, with a Dalen Terry, with Drummond, with Kobe White. And my biggest takeaway from this move is the Bulls are going to have one of the better defensive backcourts in the league. Like the Bulls defensively next season, we know at the front court what their issues are with Nikola Vucevic. But how do you combat poor rim protection in the modern day NBA? Is strong on-ball pressure, and that's what the Bulls are going to be able to do. Like Alex Caruso, he is an absolute dog defensively. He can lead your point of attack with his 6'5" long wingspan. He can really guard 1 through 3. And then if you mix in a Io, you mix in a bulldog in a Javon Carter. And if you guys aren't familiar with Javon Carter, he was at the Press Virginia, like the true Press Virginia, where they picked up opposing teams 94 feet every single game. So Javon just kind of has that dog in him. And also Javon's a Chicago kid, so we know Chicago point guards and Chicago guards like to get up and be a lot more active in general. But adding in a long, big-time wing like a Torrey Craig to this group, I mean, if you're able to roll out a lineup, and we can get kind of diving into lineup construction here, let's just say if you start Javon Carter, and then you go Alex Caruso, and then you go maybe Zach LaVine, and then Torrey Craig at the 4, maybe you want to go super small ball and go Patrick Williams at the 5, you could have scoring and you could have really, solid defense and really a true backbone of this team. And I think the Bulls' identity in this upcoming year will be the defensive backcourt and just the overall defensive play from the guard position. Like, they truly do now have 5 guys that I love their defensive intensity. Like Alex Caruso, dog on that side of 4. Carter, like I just said. Now you had Torrey Craig and Patrick Williams at the wing. Like the Bulls, any given night in the regular season, they are going to be a tough out for whoever they play. Like, that's the number one takeaway with this whole thing. Like, Torrey Craig has that dog mentality that I'm going to play every single game at 110% effort, and he fits right on in with what Javon Carter and DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine bring to the table. And by no means am I saying the Bulls are going to be contending for a championship next season. But if they are having this plan of running it back and seeing this group and how they could do with another year together, and maybe they gel that chemistry a little tighter, adding a guy like Torrey Craig, who is a solid role player, I think it only helps their case. I will say, keep your eyes out on Grant Williams. I think the Bulls, they need to add more size and physicality, and Torrey Craig does that a little bit, but he's got more of a slender frame. He's got more of that, wing archetype where it's like the long 3-and-D build. I think they need more sense of physicality, need more strength, and who knows, maybe an Io DeSumo for a Grant Williams trade could be maybe cooking in the midst here for the Chicago Bulls, and maybe they give Grant Williams that disabled player exception. Overall, it's a fun time to be a Bulls fan. They are going to have a ton of moves here with still some exceptions left to play. But Torrey Craig, that's the news of the day. He signs with the Chicago Bulls. But with more exceptions coming that the Bulls still have to play, who do you want the Bulls to sign next, or who do you think the Bulls will sign next? I just threw out a name, Grant Williams. Keep that out there, or maybe they even throw Kelly Oubre, that disabled player exception, where they say, Oubre, we'll give you that $10.2 million 1-year deal. Come help us win. But I'll ask you guys this question. Who will the Bulls sign next? And that's a perfect reason stay subscribed to the Bulls Report here on Chat Sports. Any news and rumors around the team, we'll be your one-stop shop for it all. So I appreciate everybody who's hit that subscribe button so far. But anytime the Bulls make a move, I want to be your go-to Chicago Bulls YouTube channel. We'll see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.